Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits video. Another entry here, although this one I'm going to mimic it off of one of my more recent videos, the one that I was talking about the mini ghosts of Pluckley, England, there in Kent, England. I had such a blast doing that where I was able to basically mix in a bunch of ghosts all into one video, dedicating a small portion to each one, that I thought I would do another version of it here. This time though focusing on the mini ghosts of Austin, Texas, my hometown here, and in particular focusing on the less obscure ghosts. So obviously, like, there's the more common ones such as the Driscoll Hotel, the very famous set of ghosts there. The Governor's Mansion has them as well. I think Spaghetti Warehouse, that's another one that has a very famous ghost or set of ghosts. This one though, I'm going to focus on various obscure ones. Some of the locations I have visited directly. You'll see some of the pictures here, and I haven't actually posted them anywhere, so this will be the first time I'm showcasing them. And then others I've found just through experience, people telling me about their encounters, and then also looking up things on the internet. So all very good stuff. You know, like me, when it comes to cryptids and monsters, how I love talking about the more obscure stuff. Such is the case here. So let's start off the mini ghosts of Austin, Texas. The first one that I would recommend, and again, this is great if you're visiting here, tourists, or if you're living nearby. If you happen to go to a place called Waters Park Road, it's a location way up north Austin, almost actually outside of Austin, almost to the point where it's reaching the city limits. And when you go there, there's a bridge right by Waters Park Road. This bridge happens to cover some railroad tracks. I went there directly. Here's how it looks like there. Now, as far as the hauntings associated here, it has to tie in with those railroad tracks, because the way I read the information, cut to a couple decades back or so, that location, you'll see how it curves off into the distance. Well, there was apparently a road that was tied to it that, let's say, either went parallel to it, or somewhere along the ways came across it. Either way though, there's an embankment of some sort. I don't think it's too large of an embankment, but it's still something to avoid. And what would happen is the roads, and especially in the mornings, it would get very misty, and when that happened, these cars that would pass by they would essentially take the corner too far, not realizing the distance and judging the distance because of the mist. And so from it, cars would tumble over into the embankment, and apparently it claimed several lives there. And the way the stories go is that if you go there at night, clearly though I was in the day, as you can see from the pictures here, but if you go there at night, you're supposed to be able to hear some screams from, in this case, the victims of those ghosts of those accidents. The ghosts of them still seem to haunt that area. Now, I did not go all the way towards the end of that railroad or towards the corner, because I didn't want to become one of those dumb stories where there I am, it looks like that railroad area is purposely, like, let's say, far away and cordoned off almost. Nothing in terms of a walkable distance or a walking pathway next to it. So there I am, and it's a working railroad too. Imagine me walking on it, following it, and then I hear the chimes of a railroad car, railroad tracks, essentially coming down, and the railroad coming close. So didn't want that to happen, so I went ahead and I just stayed right underneath that bridge. But others that have gone even further, let's say again at night, that's when they seem to report those experiences and those that followed that embankment. But yes, that is the first location, Waters Park Road. Now the next one has to do with this. It's actually a commercial property. It's a Home Depot. It's a depot that's located probably about southwest Austin or so. The neat thing about this is that you can visit it whenever you want. It's perfectly fine. Obviously, there's open hours, so it's not like you're trespassing because you're going there as a guest. But the way the story goes is that before this was constructed there was apparently and I don't know if there's 100% proof on this, but there was a nearby cemetery of some sort. Somebody might need to point out if they know further history associated with this location. But the way the story goes is that either way, there is one ghost that seems to haunt that location. He's actually a patron of some sort, if you can believe it, because apparently either he lived near that area, he was someone that I guess frequented that Home Depot for so long that even in the afterlife, when he passed away, he still comes across it to this very day. And the way the legend goes is, if you go there and you're walking across the Home Depot and you come across that ghost, then he will actually help you out. He's known as someone named Fred, and you wouldn't know it because he looks real. Like, so it's someone that is there, standing, talking, not see-through, not hovering, not misty-like, but an actual person. In particular, you would have to visit the outdoor garden section. And when you're there, he will direct you almost as if he was an employee there. And if you have a question, he'll help out. He'll lead you somewhere. The thing, though, the trick is, once you reach a corner, like let's say he goes across the corner, and then a couple of seconds later you go across it, then boom, you realize that suddenly he's gone. Like, you come across that corner, turn around, he's gone. He's nowhere to be found. And if you ask others there about him, then that's when the employees will start mentioning, oh, that must have been Fred, who is the ghost, the one that's either that frequented the Home Depot as a customer or was part of that graveyard that I was mentioning earlier. So interesting stuff too. So again, if you wanted to go see something and you wanted to do it without trespassing, there at the Home Depot, visit the outdoor garden section and you'll have a chance of encountering Fred. Now the next location that I went to, and I have pictures of it that I took myself, is this one. This is the Suzanna Dickinson home, or the museum, that's located in central Austin. What's interesting about this location is that it is a living remnant of Austin, Texas since a long time ago. I think actually since the 1800s or so. This home is still there, surrounded by all these businesses. Like, if you go right up to it, you'll see there's a very, very large Hilton right next door. And then just a couple of blocks down, there is the Austin Convention Center, just completely dwarfing it. When I visited this location, it reminded me of that. I think it was a Disney cartoon, the one where those buildings, those giant skyscrapers, were being built around a tiny home, and the tiny home just stayed there. So that's what it reminded me of. But yes, the Suzanna Dickinson Museum, as it's called, you can go there. It's free, but there's a tip jar on the side if you wanted to tip for it, and you can walk around a tiny, tiny home. Just a couple of rooms, but it is beautiful to look at. Lots of interior, just like it was in the past. And the way the story goes is, the hauntings are from Suzanna Dickinson herself. Now, what's interesting is that it's not inside the home per se that the hauntings occur, but it is outside of the home, especially at night. If you go there at night, which I don't really recommend, because Austin, that area, at night, it's not very good. There's still the biggest thing that catches people by surprise when they visit Austin are the multitude of homeless just wandering around the city. So if you go there at night, just be forewarned. Anyways, if you go there, then you're supposed to see her. Like, you'll see whiffs of her. Like, she has a ghostly image. There she is, walking around the house, and then looking apparently around at the other areas around the home. And in some cases, people report like she's looking either in contempt, or she's shaking her head in disappointment, something along those lines. People even from the Hilton right across the other side of the street, as I was mentioning, they also report seeing her, Suzanna Dickinson, walking around her home. Now, while I was inside that house, that museum, I did not see, hear, feel nothing. Like, it was just completely nothing. So maybe it's true, like all the activity just occurs outside. But yes, that is the next area for a haunting if you wanted to truly visit, and you're in central Austin. Now the next area that I would recommend, I don't have like a specific location, but the closest approximation is by Westlake High School. I don't have any pictures of it, so I'll just use, in this case, the Bing Maps as to give an example. So this was from a personal experience, someone told me, and the way the story goes was there used to be a building there. I think it was torn down, not torn down, but it was essentially like either it's going to be renovated or it was stripped or something along those lines. Anyway, it's no longer in use. So the way the story goes was that area is known for its weird feelings. Like people that go there, especially at night, they report, being watched. They see something scattering around to the wooded area there, like a darker mist of some sort, something staring back in other cases. But whenever that building was there, the person that I knew of stated that she was there in one room, and then on the other side of the building, because it was like a giant warehouse of some sort, I believe, or warehouse type size building, that she clearly, absolutely clearly heard something moving, a gigantic, like a heavy desk, like scraping it across the floor. There's no mistaking that sound. She heard it. She went across to the other side to try to inspect the source, localizing it based on, hearing and acoustics, judging here's where it should have happened, that noise, and nothing showed moved, like nothing showed out of the ordinary, nothing showed that would have showcased what that noise was from. And then whenever they were working on other projects in that area, they stepped outside towards the wooded air, towards the location there, and then that's when they reported that they saw something just staring back at them, like it was almost like a black hue of a man of some sort just staring at them. Obviously nothing in terms like a real man. It's just 100% like a ghost, a wispy ghost, but still solid mass, and you can tell that it was a man staring back. And then almost like lightning speed, it ran off straight into the woods. So I don't know if this area there is open to the public. I don't think it is, even after everything has been, I guess, destroyed, demolished, whatever. I think it is cordoned off. But if you wanted to do another set of ghost hunting, especially at night, then you can visit that location there near the Westlake High School. I don't think, though, it's going to be open, because methinks, especially with regards to those high school areas, that a lot of it is blocked off at night. So, and then the last place that I wanted to mention has to do with this. This is a Diocese of Austin. It's a location near northeast Austin, Texas. Not open to the public in the sense that like obviously you can't just walk in on your own. I think you either have to have some business with the diocese or be a member of some sort, I don't know, but or be an employee, but you can't just walk in on your own. But the way I heard one story was anyone that works there at the diocese, they are told explicitly, and this is this is like almost like if you're in human resources and you're doing a checklist of do's and don'ts. Here's one of the don'ts, and it's if you're working there or if you're visiting there, you may encounter something, in this case a man of some sort, and the way he's been described is looking at some kind of like almost not zombie like, but clearly like disheveled, like let's say like in the horror movies when you think of a evil looking man, then you think of something like this. Well, if you see this thing, whatever it is, in the corner of the room that you're at, he will actually just stand there just staring back at you. He'll just appear out of the blue. And when he does so, he won't do anything, but he'll just stare at you, apparently with like bulbous eyes, just completely eyes wide open, just staring at you. And the way that they describe it as the don't is don't do anything, don't acknowledge him, don't come up to him, don't ask him questions, just go about your business as you normally would, and then he will disappear. Either he'll, I guess, no longer pay attention to you or whatever, and then he'll just walk through the wall and be gone. Or he'll pop up elsewhere. Apparently he pops up in hallways, in break rooms. It doesn't matter. I guess the whole place is his, and he'll just randomly do so. So, if you are in that location and you're there for business, you're there for visitations, whatever, this is the Diocese of Austin, be forewarned, you may be instructed about him, especially if you ask the employees, like, hey, is this true? Then they'll tell you probably that same information. So that was really interesting to find out from that person, the way they told me that whenever they went there, that they were told about him, and then specifically what not to do when encountering him. But anyways, those are some of the examples, the localized, more obscure ghosts or locations here of Austin, Texas. If anyone has any information about the stuff I mentioned, any other places that stand out too, that would be really, really good to hear. If anyone has any experience with the items I just mentioned, the locations or the entities there, that would be really good to hear too. So, alright, everybody, thanks again as always. Take care.